Hi children, today we are going to take the topic data handling. Now what is data handling? First, what is data? Anything we collect as information, we call it as data. Suppose if you are asked to collect the marks of a student from your class in midterm 1, what will you do? You will just collect the marks of the student for all the 5 subjects, right? So that is called data. But it is fair enough to collect for one. What happens if you're just collecting data for the whole of your class and you're just writing it randomly and you're not organized it? So let us take certain numbers like this. See, these are all called datas. I have written the wages of a particular laborers. For 30 laborers, I have written the wages here. You all know what is wages, right? It is salary. So salaries for a week for 30 people, I have written it here. But this cannot be organized, and this is not at all organized. Now when I look at this data, what can I interfere from this? I couldn't know anything from this, just numbers are given here. So this type of data, you call it as raw data. So these data, you call it as raw data. It is just collected and put, and we have not organized in any way here. So we are going to organize our data in a useful way so that we'll be able to recollect them or record them or use them for any other purposes. So what are the ways of keeping the data organized is, like in our lower classes, we have learnt about pictographs. We've drawn pictures and we've shown data. The same way, we are going to use certain methods to organize these data, and the first method that we are going to use is frequency distribution table. So the first method that we are going to use to organize this data is frequency distribution table. So what is frequency? The number of times a entry occurs. That is, for example, if you take to 835, how many times I have written in this data? I have written 835 once, twice, thrice and 4 times. So I have written 835 4 times. So the frequency of 835 is 4. That is called frequency. How many times that particular number occurs? You call it as frequency. Now, I am going to draw the frequency distribution table and show you how to organize this data and make it a data which is useful. And frequency distribution table is also called as a tally mark table. So, it is also the tally mark method that we are going to organize data here. So, I am going to draw the table first. So, for that table, I should have 3 columns. One is a class interval. The other one is a tally mark, and the last is a frequency. So this is how I will draw my frequency distribution table. First I will draw my class interval, then my tally mark, and the last I will have my frequency. So now what is class interval? See, this is organized data of 30 people, unorganized data of 30 people. I can't write each and every entry down for 30 entries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group it into a group. So I'm going to just combine it to certain group limits and I'm going to write those limits. For that, I'm also going to first check my range. You all know what is range, right? Range is nothing but the highest value minus the lowest value in the data. So what is the highest value in the data? It is 890, 898. So 898 is the highest value. So 898 minus, and the lowest value is 820, I believe. 806. Yes. So the lowest value in the data is 806. So when I subtract, I get 92. So 92 is my range value. So that is how I found out my range. Now moving on to the class interval, I am going to check which is the least one. It is 806 and the highest one is 898. So I am going to divide my class intervals accordingly. I am just going to start with 800 to 810, 810 to 820, 820 to 830, 830 to 840, 840 to 850, 850 to 860, 860 to 870, 870 to 880, 880 to 890, and 890 to 900. So this is how I'm just giving my class intervals in class interval of 10. Now I'm going to draw my tally mark. So first one is 830. 830 is either I have 830 here or on my upper limit, but always I take my value where my lower limit is there. So I don't go for the upper limit. Wherever I have the lower limit given, there I'll write my number. So 830 to 840, I just give one tally mark. Next 835, again 830 to 840. 890, it is over here in the last. 810, again over here. 835, 836. 869 is under 860 and 70. 845 is over here. 898 will be in last. 890 again the last. 820, 860, 832. See, 832 again comes over here. For 5, I don't draw my tally mark like this. I instead cross my tally mark for 5. 833, again I start with a new beginning. 855, 845, 804 is over here. 808, 812, 840, 885, 835, again 835 and 836, 878, 840 again, 868, 890 is in the last, 806, 840. So I've just drawn the tally mark for all the columns. So tally mark has been drawn for all the entries that is given over here, and after drawing the tally mark I'm going to calculate the frequency, and the frequency will be 3. I'm just counting how many entries I have given. 2, 1, this is 5 plus 4, 9, this is 5, and again I have 1, 3, 1, 1 and 4. So this is how I draw the tally mark table. So first I draw tally mark for all the frequencies given, and at last I am going to write down the frequency, like how many entries I have for each column. So that is the frequency distribution table. Now this was a raw data. Now I have transformed it to a data where I am able to at least analyze how many entries are under group 1, how many entries are under group 2. So I am able to analyze some information from this frequency distribution table, and that is how we've changed the unorganized data to organized data now. So this is how we draw frequency distribution table, and next we are moving on with two type of data here. Now this class interval itself, when you look at this class interval, you could see that 810 is repeated, 820 is repeated, 840 is repeated. So this type of data you called as continuous data. So this type of data is what called as continuous data. If suppose this data or the class interval is like 800 to 89, 89 to 818, 810 to 818. This is 8, 9 and the next number has come here. So I am not repeating it. So this type of data is called as discrete type of data. So in this video, we just saw what is raw data, what is a range, how to draw frequency distribution table, and what is continuous data and discrete data. Let us look on with how to draw a bar graph and histogram in the next video session. Thank you.